believe that school responds poorly to bullying, with a high percentage of students believing that adult help is infrequent and ineffective.
All right, I would say to that schools and governments in the last probably 2 or 3 years have tried really hard to make improvements to prevent bullying. This is seen through the adoption of the Dignity Act in New York State. Schools need time to implement programs to help enforce the Dignity Act. With the amount of social networking sites, parents need to team up with schools to help prevent bullying as well.
All right. It is estimated that 1,600,000 children miss school every day.
160. I feel that the number is really high, and that definitely needs to be reduced. That's too many kids missing school because they're scared or intimidated, and that's not right. School should be a place where they're feeling safe and want to come to learn and prepare for their future.
Do you think bullying will ever stop?
Truthfully, no. Reason is people are always struggling for power. Bullying is a way for people to feel powerful. So do I think it'll ever stop? No. But I think it can get better.
What types of bullying do you think there is out there?
Well, there's bullying just face-to-face. There's obviously cyberbullying now with social networking and Facebook and everything. I'm sure there's lots more that I can't even imagine at the moment. So.
Over 2/3 of students believe that school responds poorly to bullying, with a high percentage of students believing that adult help is infrequent and ineffective. How do you respond to that?
I think that's unfortunate. I think that there should be better communication between students and teachers and better outreach by teachers to find out where that bullying is happening, how it's happening, and ways in which we can reduce that.
Suicide is the third leading cause among young people, resulting in about 4,400 deaths per year, and over 14% of high school students have considered suicide. How do you respond to that?
It's a tragedy. It's unfortunate that kids have to deal with that. You know, you guys already got so much with your academic concerns. You don't need to be worrying about bullying in school. You don't need to be worrying about, you know, if somebody passes away because they took their own life. So hopefully we can find some ways to find, you know, these kids a different way to get this bullying to be stopped, so they don't have to take that way out.
Do you think bullying will ever be stopped?
You know, it's tough because it's, in one way you can kind of look at that and say, can crime ever be stopped? You know, can you ever take the nature out of the people? Is it our nature to be bullies, or is it just a part of our culture that we can change through, you know, constant awareness and changing, you know, what we think and do about it? But I think it can definitely be reduced to much less than what the situation is right now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Over 2/3 of students believe that school responds poorly to bullying, with a high percentage of students believing that adult help is infrequent and ineffective. How do you feel about that?
I think that sometimes adults don't realize the full extent of how serious it can be. You know, you see kids goof around with their friends, and they can even be bullied by their group of friends, not just people that aren't within their circle. So, you know, we try to keep an eye out for it, but a lot of it goes on a little more quietly or in the hallways, and we don't always hear it, or sometimes it happens, you know, in passing and you don't think about it right away. So there probably is more that could be done, but it's not always as obvious.
Suicide is the third leading cause among young people, resulting in about 440 deaths per year, and over 14% of high school students have considered suicide. What is your opinion on that?
I think it's really, really sad because I think there's always people that are willing to help, and the kids don't always reach out when they need to, you know, and sometimes, like I said, people don't know what's going on, and sometimes it's too late. So there needs to be more ways for kids to express what they're feeling instead of turning to something like that.
Do you think bullying will ever be stopped?
I don't know if it'll be stopped completely, but I would hope that people could be more educated on it so that we can prevent it, and there would at least be more of a clear way to deal with it, you know, like more of a protocol so the kids know, okay, well, I can go to this person, or make it more acceptable to talk about it instead of being embarrassed.
What types of bullying do you think there is in the world?
Oh, there's everything. There's bullying that's just playing around and it gets taken too far and kids get upset. There's bullying that's against people, you know, what they have and what they may not have, you know, like money-wise or where their family's from. There's stuff that's race related, there's stuff that's just, you know, sexual orientation, everything. I think that anything can be taken too far. It just depends on what's being said, I guess.
Suicide is the third leading causes among young people resulting in about 400 deaths per year. How do you feel about that?
Man, kids don't know how to solve their problems, so the first thing they want to do is kill themselves because they ain't got no one to talk to. And it's hard being a kid because you got all this pressure from like school and like relationships and stuff. So it's harder being a teenager now, and I think kids are just taking the easy way out.
Over 2/3 of students believe that school responds poorly to bullying, with a high percentage of students believing that adult help is infrequent and ineffective. What is your opinion on that?
I don't know, I just think people should stop being mean to each other for no reason. And that's a lot of effort. If you just don't like the person, just don't talk to them. You don't have to just mess with them and push them and stuff like that. And I think if they're a direct cause for the bullying and the kid kills himself, they should go to jail.
Suicide is the third leading causes among young people, resulting in about 4,400 deaths per year. How do you respond to that?
I feel like bullying is bad, and like teachers should step in and help, and students should not be mean to other students.
Over 2/3 of students believe that school responds poorly to
Excuse me,
bullying.
can you repeat the question?
Over 2/3 of students believe that school responds poorly to bullying, with a high percentage of students believing that adult help is infrequent and ineffective. What is your response to that?
Yeah, I feel like teachers don't step in how they should, and it's just, I don't know, bullying is very common in school and over the internet, cyberbullying. I feel like it's bad, and people should do more about it.
Suicide is the third leading causes among young people, resulting in about 4,400 deaths per year. How do you respond to that?
It's real, it's truthful, and it's wrong. I think young people need to make sure that they find an adult in their lives that they can trust and they can confide in. And there's a whole lot of other options besides suicide. So if you're out there, you're thinking about hurting yourself, find someone, find an adult that's responsible.
Do you think bullying will ever be stopped? What types of bullying do you think there is out there?
All kinds of there's bullying on the internet and texting and interpersonal, there's all kinds of stuff.
Over 2/3 of students believe that school responds poorly to bullying, with a high percentage of students believing that adult help is infrequent and ineffective. How do you feel about that?
It may be true in some places, but it's something that we pride ourselves here at our school to make sure that we are addressing that. But we can't do anything if students don't talk. So if you or any of your friends are aware of it, you need to let us know, because sometimes students won't self-report. But if you observe it taking place, it's got to be addressed.